Everybody's wrong. Rewrote the song. Thoughts become action. Tell me what's happening. What's your mind wrapped around?
Hey guys, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this gold foil sort of texture for your hand lettering. I actually did this completely by accident earlier today, posted it on Instagram, and a few people wanted me to make a tutorial to show you how to do this. Now, I know there are probably other ways of doing this, maybe better ways, I don't know, but I'm just going to take you through the process of how I made it completely by accident. So, first you're going to need to have some lettering, and for this I wrote golden since it's going to be a gold foil texture. Once you've got your lettering, either take a picture of it or scan it in. I'd recommend scanning it personally, but if you haven't got a scanner, then taking a picture will probably be just fine. And once you've scanned your lettering in, or you've taken a picture of it, you'll want to get a black paper sort of texture. I just got one off Google Images for the sake of this tutorial. So once you've got your texture and you've got your lettering, you're going to open Photoshop and drag the texture in first so you've got your background. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to drag in your lettering, like this. And I'm just going to rotate mine so it's the right way, make it bigger, and press enter. Then I'm going to get the select tool. I'm just going to select the type that I want, and then press Command J or Control J if you're on a PC. I'm just going to turn off the original layer, so I've just left with the type that I want, and I'm just going to get rid of these little parts here that I don't want, them, and a little smudge there. And once you're left with your type on a white background, all you're going to do is double click onto the thumbnail of the layer, like this. And this top slider where it says blend if, you're just going to drag this one across until you get rid of all of the white. So that seems about fine. Press OK. Right click, convert to smart object, and then right click again, and then rasterize layer. And what this does is it completely takes the background off it, so now if you were to select that, it would just select the type itself and it wouldn't have the rectangle around it. So once you've got that, I'm just going to adjust my type a little bit to make it look a bit better. By holding Command or Control if you're on PC, you can just hold that and then click on the edges and pull them. So I'm just going to do it again at the top just to give it a bit more of an italic sort of look. I'm just going to centre this. Well, that'll be about fine. And once you're at this point, what you're going to do is go over to the blend modes over here, just above your layers, and you're going to go down and select divide. And as you can see, that basically inverts the colours and makes it a bit more translucent. So what you're going to do from there is press Command U or Control U, which brings up your hue and saturation, and you're just going to drag the saturation slider all the way down to the bottom. And then the lightness, you're also going to drag that down to the left, and because the colour's inverted, you're dragging it to the darker side, but it's actually getting brighter, so drag that down to maybe about there, that seems about right. Press OK. And then you're going to come up to filter at the top, come down to noise, add noise. And you're going to want to make sure you've got monochromatic ticked, I think that's how you say it. And just select an amount that you think looks reasonable, but it's like that's probably way too much, so let's try 8, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks better. This is just to give it a bit more of that gritty sort of sparkly feel, like you would do with like a metallic texture. So press OK. And you're going to press Command U or Control U if you're on PC. And you're going to come over to the bottom right corner where it says Colorize, make sure that's ticked. And you're going to drag the hue slider across until you get a yellow colour on your type. So about there. And you're going to bring the saturation up to a reasonable sort of level. You don't want it to be overpowering like that where you can't even see the actual textures on it. So I'm going to bring it down to about there. And you can play with the lightness as well if you want to adjust that. So I'm going to pull that up a little bit. +1, hardly a difference, but I'll just do it anyway. And once you've got your type at this point, you're just going to come down to Effects at the bottom. Click on Gradient Overlay. And as you can see, I've already kind of got mine set up from when I did it last, but basically you're going to make sure your blend mode is set to overlay, and then the opacity you can adjust that later, but click on the gradient, and you can actually use these two here. These two I found work quite well for this, so this gives it more of a yellowy gold sort of colour, and and this one gives it more of an orangey yellow, so it's like, sort of like more of a gradient, which to me gives it a bit more of a shine and makes it look a bit more like an actual gold texture. So you press OK on that, and then this is where you can play with the opacity, because as you can see, when you put it at the full, at 100%, it looks quite contrasted and doesn't look too great. So I just tend to pull this down a little bit, maybe to like there or something. And of course you can play with the angle of the lighting as well, so the gradient changes angle. Personally I'm just going to keep it at 90 because I think it looks best. And then you're going to hit OK, and then you're done. So as you can see, you kind of have this gold foil sort of texture on your lettering. And like I said at the start, this was purely by accident how I figured this out, so there probably is other ways of doing it like I said, but this was just for the purpose of showing you guys how I did it and so that you can do it yourself. I want to thank you all for your amazing support, and thank you so much for watching.